Well, greetings YouTube, LMS Tactical here. Sorry for the pornography video here, but I'm just getting ready to jump in the shower, and I need to administer a injection for testosterone. Now, the reason I do that is because at my age, I'll be 60 here in a couple months. A lot of guys, after a certain age, their testosterone gets really low. Because of some of the medications I take and my age, it depletes my testosterone completely. And so a lot of, and pardon me, I have allergies going on right now, big time. But the way it all happened with me, just to bore you, is I remember one time a couple years ago, I was watching these commercials and they're like, are you lacking energy and lacking libido? And I'm thinking, my God, I got all this shit. Well, it may be testosterone. So I went and had my testosterone levels checked, and I was like a 0. And one of the ways you could tell is not only do you just feel tired all the time, but you should get this checked out. By the way, your T levels, if this is applies to you. But my libido was just non-existent. I told my doctor, I mean, you could have the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders working out naked right in front of me, and I'd look at them and be like, I think I'll go clean a gun. I had no interest at all. So I started getting injections, and then ultimately thought, why do I got to come here every 2 weeks? Can't I just do it myself? Well, the first time I did it, the video is on YouTube here somewhere on this channel, way the fuck back. And it's hysterical. I mean, it took me, here I am, I got, been in a lot of situations that I'm not afraid of, but man, to stick that needle in took me 20 minutes, and I was just like, okay, here we go, 1, 2, and I just didn't have the nerve to do it. I didn't know. Do you shove it in fast? Do you go in slow? I was looking at YouTube videos, and I was just terrified. So now that I've been doing it for a couple of years, I thought, you know what, there may be somebody new to this, and I'm going to do my best to help you out. So here's what I do. And again, always follow the advice of your doctors before you do anything. So here's what the testosterone looks like, and I think it's 200 milligrams is what I take. I take 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. So I take the little red tip off. Now here's the important part. So here you basically get a hypodermic, but it's got no needle. So I get 2 needles, and this is super important. The red one, and it may be different colors depending on what type you get, but I use an 18 gauge to draw the liquid out of the vial. So the 18 gauge has a really big hole. You wouldn't want to stick that into you because it would hurt like a MFer. But once I get that done, I switch the needle because they just unscrew, and I put on it's a 20 something, what is it? It's a 23 gauge. So the higher the number, the thinner the needle. So this is nice to inject it because it's super thin. But if I tried to draw the liquid from the vial with this thin one, I'd be pulling and it would just take forever because it's so thin. So that's the science behind that. So what we do is I open up my red one. Make sure your hands are clean and blah, blah, blah. And I screw it onto the hypodermic here. And, be careful. I've stuck myself a million times back in the beginning, so you got to know what you're doing. And what I do is I pull it back just a little bit like that. Now, you don't want to pull it back like this. I've made all these mistakes. And when I push it into the vial and I push the air out, it's blown the freaking, the liquid all the way back out of the vial all over the place. So you don't want to do that. So I just pull it in. I pull it out about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And I don't know if you can see the diameter. Where's the camera on this thing? Where is it? Where's your camera at? You can see how thick that hole is. Look at that. I don't know where the fucking camera is. Anyways, I stick that in here, and then I turn it upside down. There's a spot between the label where you can see everything. Yeah, you can see the liquid. So I pull it down almost to the bottom there, and I first push the air. Let me try and get it to where you can see it. And I just push it out nice and slow so I don't get all that back pressure. And then once I get the air out, I make sure that I'm down. I pull it, you can see it through the glass. I pull it almost out. And then I draw the liquid into the hypodermic. Yeah, you can see it. And you get good at it. I can manipulate it with this finger and pull while I'm getting, you want to get every drop of it. And I'm sorry I'm blocking you, but I got to do this. So my eyes are getting bad here. And you don't want to leave it in there. You got to be real careful with this shit, because if you spill it or leave shit laying around and your wife gets it on her hands, she'll end up growing a beard and an Adam's apple. Okay, so now that's what it looks like. You can see it's right there. There's the level. And I slowly push it up to where it hits the thing there. And then you can see it dripped out. Now that's too much, right? Should have done that. That's because I wasn't paying attention. Never should have came out that much. So I just wasted it, which means, how sad for me. But now I'm going to switch needles. But you only want just to see a little teeny bubble form at the tip. When I get the air out on this one, I'll pay more attention, and I'll just look at the needle instead of the camera. Now, what I do is I just slowly push, and I mean ever so slowly. Ever so slowly. Come on. And, you're not shooting this into a vein. There we go. So one drop came out. You're not shooting it into a vein, so, make sure you get it in the right spot. Now, let me stop the camera so I can get position so you don't see something that's going to make you have to have therapy. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the top of the outer top of my right thigh. So I'm gonna inject it right here in the muscle, and then next 2 weeks from now I'll do the other one in the opposite side, and I rotate it every couple of weeks. So here's what we do. We basically pull the skin apart like this, and I hope you can see this. I'm trying to do it at an angle here. But when you inject it, you just shove it in. And before you push in the fluid, you pull it back, and you look through to see if you're pulling any blood in. That way you're making sure you're not in a vein or anything like that. You don't want to shove this shit into a vein. You should be okay, though, in this area. And then I just go ahead and push it on in. There's a red spot there from my dog scratching me, jumping up on me. And then what I do is, because every now and again you'll get some blood will come out, I get a little tissue ready, and I just pull it right out, cover it up, and then I work it around, make sure it's not going to leak back out of the hole there, and you should be good to go. And then I just put a Band-Aid over it, and that's the end of it. And so that's pretty much it. There's not much to it. So you scrub the area, you do follow the procedures, and make sure you run it by your doctor. They may have a different method or different. If you look at YouTube, there's different techniques, different locations. I've tried them all. I mean, if you go to the doctor to do it, they usually do it in the top of the ass because it's all muscle, and that's where, it's supposed to go into muscle. And other people will do it on the front of the thigh. I've tried that. But that area on the outer region of the thick part of your thighs, I find to be the best. Trust me, it doesn't hurt. Every now and again, you might hit a little nerve, and it's not pain. It's just like but don't stress about it. Always make sure, though, that you pull back the plunger before you inject to make sure. If you pull that sucker back and you see red, you see blood, that means you're in a little blood vessel or something, and you want to, unfortunately, you're going to have to take it out and do it in another location. It's never happened to me, and I've been doing this for years, but that's something that you got to be aware of. I hope this helps somebody. Don't be ashamed of it. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get old, you're going to have to deal with these problems. The libido thing makes life worth living, but so does the energy. But you got to get your shit tested. You got to make sure that you follow up periodically and get your testosterone levels checked, even when you're doing this type of therapy, and keep track of your liver, and you know how to do it. But again, don't do anything without following the advice of your doctor. Hope that helps. Stay safe. LMS Tactical. I'm out.